I just saw this post where this guy said, I'm stuck in a generation where girls would rather be taken to the club than on a nice date with flowers. And I was gonna swipe up and comment, womp womp, but as my finger pressed the comment button, one of my beautiful press-on nails pointed my attention to the caption, which was, #mustache. Which, I mean, God bless him. God bless him.
You know what? I got nothing. At this point, I just think modern women are using 2025 as a means to just complain about men. So in other words, any other year in the Gregorian calendar. Woman, are you seriously trying to make fun of men for having mustaches? If that's the case, then Tom Selleck himself would like to have a word with you. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Tom Selleck graduated from the Holy Mustache Academy of the Intergalactic Space God Yix Glibbamakard, all hail. And I gotta tell you, that's an exclusive educational institution. Only the finest of men are granted access to that place. Not even I, a certified lieutenant of the properly waxed floors of his holiest of holy sanctuaries, all hail, has even been allowed entry. But what goes on in there can only be described as some of the finest mustache craft in the entire universe. And when a man has an awesome mustache, it is the stuff of legend. So in short, woman, don't bash the stash. You look like you've tried to grow one multiple times and failed miserably at each attempt. So you're not one to talk.
And I was expecting all the comments to be like, well, that's because that's because you're looking for girls at the club. Or B, my thought process, which was, oh, womp womp, too bad. Okay, girls like club. Girls like club. We like big flashy lights. We like good music. God forbid a girl that leaves the house, goes and does fun things. Because we know that you like us more when we stay home to cook and knit and raise children or whatever.
Women should stay home and make babies.
Okay, woman, you're bringing this all on yourself. If you were to cook, it would be a fire hazard. If you were to try and knit, it would be condemned by the kindly grandmothers of planet Earth. And I personally shudder at the thought of you trying to raise children. The only thing that you can do competently well is throw on your skimpiest outfit, go to an overpriced club where you spastically dance in hopes of getting the attention from Chadnam P.I. and his epic mustache, and drinking enough alcohol to put down a moderately sized farm animal. You're incapable of having any other thing that could even remotely resemble fun. Now, most dudes couldn't care less about what you do, but most men aren't interested in club rats. We're not interested in broads who can tell the difference between bottom shelf vodkas and a blind taste test, and we're not interested in someone who's going to blindly pass judgment and condemn men who don't want women who require to be doused in bleach before re-entering the house after a night of clubbing just to reduce the risk of infections.
But the comments were so pick me. And I'm like, this guy's not even that cute. Like, oh my god, snap out of it. The top comment was like, if you wanted to date me, I would never go to a club again. Ugh! It's driving me nuts. It's 2025 now, guys.
I must have missed 60 minutes. What are you saying?
Woman, you have no life, you have no purpose, and you have no practical use. This is why you're constantly finding yourself triggered by internet comments made by users who are free to express themselves in any way they see fit. That's why you fly off the handle and call these women pick-me girls, because they can actually see the detrimental effects of constant clubbing. I mean, listen to yourself. You are getting physically ill over any woman who agrees with a guy about his concerns over the sport of female clubbing. And no, I'm not suggesting that women be treated like baby seals. Baby seals actually have a use. I'm talking about the kinds of women who go to clubs because they've already binge watched all of their favorite British period dramas and have nothing else to do with their time. So naturally, they're going to be furious with any woman who disagrees with her self-destructive lifestyle. And the modern woman's response is to lash out on the internet, make collective asses out of themselves everywhere, because at the end of the day, these women cannot stand living in a world where baby seals have more value than they do.
That's funny because it's so true. The difference between when a girl is sick and when a guy is sick is absolutely insane. They're babies. They are babies. I had the flu, and obviously before I knew it was a flu, I still showed up to work. I worked that fucking shift. Sat there, it was retail at the time, and I sat there, hi, yeah, dying. My manager literally looked at me and was like, Grace, like, I think you have the flu, like, you need to go home. I was like, no, it's fine, literally having heat flashes. My boyfriend, he barely gets sick, so when he does, God help us. No, everybody, please, God forbid. This man is calling me, being like, oh, like, I just feel so sicky. Like, oh my God.
Man, that's just mean. That's mean, man.
Well, you know what, sister? I'm pretty sick right now, yet here I am talking on the internet about entitled broads who have nothing better to do with their lives except constantly complain about men. Men cannot do anything right in today's modern world, and that includes getting sick. And in all honesty, I'm just getting sick of this notion that men deserve ridicule when they fall ill. Men work their asses off from sunup to sunset, only to have less than charming individuals such as yourself make fun of them the second they feel sick. Because God forbid a man be able to take it easy when he's got a temporarily debilitating disease. I keep forgetting that modern women are allowed to gatekeep practically anything. They gatekeep abusive behavior, reckless spending, hobbies, video games, not to mention illness. Modern women straight up believe that men who get sick are weak and subject to criticism because in their eyes, if a man's not working, then he's straight up useless, which is ironic because these women are literally looking in a mirror when they record these dumbass TikTok videos.
I was like, okay, well, this is what you're gonna do. And I like told him and he was like, okay, thank you. Every time I like check in on him, I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, no, but I'm really trying to be. Men love to be babied. They love to be babied. The fact that I got like soup, electrolytes, all of that stuff for him, he ate it up. He loves it because he loves to be a little baby. But low-key, I love it because I love it when they're vulnerable. I love it when they need us. Honestly, he's so cute when he's sick. He sounds so nasally and stupid.
A smelly fish.
And it's not a card.
Lady, what you call quote-unquote babying is what most of us would call a caring attitude. Men don't want to be babied. In fact, most of us can't stand that. It's condescending, mean-spirited, and just goes to show that you would be better off collecting cats right now because there's really no hope for you. Most self-respecting men would actually appreciate someone who's going to care about them when they're feeling sick, not pretend to care, then turn around and embarrass them on TikTok. Now, we all know that you're lying. That boyfriend of yours wasn't on the phone intentionally acting weak and looking for support, but that's because you don't have a boyfriend. I cannot imagine any man willingly entering into a relationship with you considering how mean you are. And when you're not being mean, you're acting like you're the morally superior one only because you were dumb enough to go to work when you had the flu. But that's only in between moments when you're feeling the need to rip into this poor guy for the crime of getting sick a couple times a year. In fact, you better get away from us because we're all pretty sick of you. You better go quarantine for the rest of your life. It's for the greater good, woman. Just lock yourself in your room and we'll throw some tortillas under the door for you or something. We'll figure that part out later, but just go away now for the sake of humanity.
That would be cool.
Here's what you should tell your boyfriend if he says he doesn't want to give you a big rock. I want you to tell him that every time you run into someone after getting engaged, they're going to say, oh my God, let me see the ring. And then she's going to put out her hand and they're going to look at you. And immediately, your worth as a man is associated with the ring. I was at the post office today and a lady said, what does your husband do for work? Like, what? You think he came up with this on his own?
You're not just wrong, you're stupid. Now wait just a minute. And you're ugly, just like your mum.
Came up with what on his own? That bagel? You know, my knowledge on the history of baked goods isn't exactly up to par with most people, but if he's telling you that, then you're most gullible than most intergalactic bridge buyers. This is nothing about bagels. Bagels aren't like modern women. Bagels smell nice, they look good on practically every occasion, and they won't talk back to you unless you're talking about the talking bagels of Brooksori 9, but even then, at least they have something of wit to say. And let me tell you something, gentlemen and gents, you haven't lived until a bagel has told you to stop being stupid and be a smarty and go and join the Nazi party. If you got that reference, 1,000,000 bonus points to you. So I guess I'm failing to see your point or the importance behind it. Modern women are obsessed with the idea of getting married. Well, not the actual marriage itself. That actually takes work and effort. They're just obsessed with the ceremony, the reception, the attention, and the gifts that come with it. They want the prizes, but they don't want the responsibility that comes afterwards. It's pretty much come to the point where getting a divorce is the only reason to get married for modern women nowadays, and that's why men aren't exactly quick to line up to sign that kind of a contract.
Remind him, this is bigger than just an engagement. If you want the rock, you know what you want and you know what you deserve. I support it. Listen, there are things I'm willing to settle for in life, and this was not one of them. And I said that from the beginning. No shame in my game, baby.
Shame on you, and shame on you, and shame on your whole ill-mannered town.
Lady, the only thing that's real about you is the crimes that you're committing on those bagels. Seriously, woman, shame on you. Your story makes no sense at all. There is no way that you're engaged to a guy who'd be willing to drop the GDP of a small, impoverished nation on a piece of jewelry you're only going to wear 4 times in your entire life, one of which is going to be inside your overpriced coffin. Self-respecting men aren't willing to put up with that kind of an ultimatum, and if you try to shame him in front of other women, he'll just leave you to go play with rocks for that matter. He'll go out there and find a bunch of rocks, and then he'll go to a river and start throwing them, because it's been proven by the intergalactic space science, if you give a man a rock near the river, that rock is going in the river. I mean, that's what we do with Skeeter. We think of all sorts of rock throwing contests. Distance, skips, splashes. Sometimes we even pretend that the rocks are hand grenades and the water is zombies, and that's way more fun, satisfying, and safer than marrying a modern woman. It is an honor and a privilege to recognize the support of the fine members of the Bounty Board over on Patreon. Gentlemen and gents, your generosity is staggering. Thank you so much for supporting my work over on Patreon. You guys are certified gents in every single sense of the word, and yes, I've got those forms in triplicate. All hail! And if you're interested in supporting my work, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where for $5 a month, you can get access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube. I post up there twice a week with subjects ranging from Tales from the Lockverse, as well as movie reviews, video games, you name it, you'll find it over on the Bounty Board. The link is in the pinned comment down below, and I hope I've earned your support today.
Believe me, it's worth it.
I have a boyfriend. Okay, that is obviously not true given I'm going on a first date on Christmas Day. I just need to start saying these things on the internet with the hope that the Duet dating app will leave me in peace from its advertisements. I have not gotten this many advertisements on a single product since maybe the Jolie shower head, which I was only okay with because founders went to Penn, and I am biased towards anything and any founder who went to Penn, but I need a break, and I totally understand why the Duet app is really over-indexing on their ads this holiday season, because people are home and they're getting asked about dating, and people are probably stressed and a little bit fed up. But I urge you, if you are fed up with dating, to remember that as a girl, I'm not planning, paying for, or coming up with any sort of coordination when it comes to these dates.
No one makes friends with a failure. Okay? You understand?
Alright, sister, what I say, I mean with the most sincerity that I can find within the endless void of my own soul. You are hopeless. You're living the definition of insanity. The app doesn't matter. Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, Pipe Wrench, Grindr, Hoagie, Submarine, that one app that tries to cater only to people with club feet. None of it matters. They're all designed to do the exact same thing, and that's to keep you single. And you keep going back to it every single time. It's fairly obvious, woman. None of it matters, but you're so lazy that you need the internet to do the work for you, even though you can't even do that right. You're so obsessed with the idea of having a boyfriend that you'd rather live in the fantasy and then blame the apps for not making your fantasy a reality. You're doing practically nothing, and then you bitch and moan when nothing happens. And the sad part is, this is completely avoidable. All you have to do is go outside and be a halfway decent person. Talk to guys, be friendly, and you'll actually get some phone numbers and dates fairly easily, but for some reason, that's far too complicated for you to comprehend, which is unsurprising as much as it is kind of pathetic.
And if you let going on a date become a job, meaning it's something you're stressed about, or it's something you need to do X amount of times a week, or whatever your version of this is, that it becomes stressful in your life, you're never going to have fun on dates, which means you're going to go into every date being stressed about it, and it's not going to be a fun, enjoyable, or even like tolerable experience. And I'm sorry for the jump scare to anyone who thought I was dating someone, because God knows that's probably not happening anytime soon.
I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
I hate to break it to you, sister, but you're not capable of having fun. You're not even capable of feeling good without the enhancement of alcohol, cannabis, or the never-ending gilded support from your minions on TikTok. You're looking at dating as if it's supposed to be fun and exciting, but it's really not. How can they be? You're not fun, exciting, or even mildly interesting. I personally have more emotional investment in that old bottle of mild taco sauce I have in my refrigerator. I think about it from time to time, just sitting there, wondering if it has any hopes and dreams, and if those dreams include being drained of all of its lifeblood to slightly enhance the flavor of my breakfast burritos. If taco sauce were a person, would it be happy if its contents were used to make my food a little bit more edible? Or would it be sad that its sole purpose in life is to hang out in a glass bottle and wait to be eaten? All the while just sitting in a dark, cold box, wondering if the next time the door opens it'll be their last moments on Earth. Such wonders are beholden to that bottle of taco sauce, and unlike that taco sauce, at least it provides quality of life improvements without demanding a king's ransom in return. And unlike this chick, that's worth $1.99.
So you can see that is, I'm no economist, but that is a load of dough.
Here is the boyfriend application. First of all, number 1, I am passenger princess. I never drive. Never drive. So if you can't handle driving every single place that we go to, you're not the guy for me. Another thing, I have a dog. So if you can't help me take care of 8 dogs while I am working, then you're not the guy for me. And another thing, a lot of times I am recording or working. So if you are not a good cook, and I mean a good cook, we're not going to work out, because I enjoy cooking, but I don't enjoy eating the food that I cook, if that makes sense. It always tastes better when someone else makes it.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
After hearing an idea as stupid as a boyfriend application, the more I'm convinced that modern women can't come up with a good idea if their lives depended on it. They think a boyfriend application is cute and funny, but in reality it just reflects the basic demands of your everyday employer. They list off a whole bunch of things that you will be required to do. It's typically degrading, devoid of any enjoyment, and what it offers isn't worth the amount of work that they're paying you for. Why would any men want to submit an application to be a boyfriend to a woman who won't drive, can't cook, and will come up with excuses as to why they can't do anything? Men work hard enough without being told by their potential girlfriend that they have to work even more when they're not on the clock. At least with a soul-crushing employer, they're at least making some money. Unlike with this broad, you'll have to spend an ungodly amount of cash in exchange for nothing but headaches and excuses as to why she's not interested in bedroom fun anymore.
Another thing, I am a huge family person. If you are not down to go and hang out with my family randomly for a couple hours, then no, I'm too much of a family person. Another thing, if you can't go and do your own thing by yourself, we're not gonna work out, because I'm a homebody and I like to stay at home. So if you want to go out, go by your fucking self.
No.
Okay, let's go ahead and crunch some numbers here. On this list of requirements, in order for a man to fill out this application, is nothing but demands that you expect from this guy. So he must cook, he must be okay with your family, he must drive, and he must be able to do his own stuff without you, which just means that no matter what he does, you're going to resent him for it because, well, let's just be honest here, you're going to hate him if he goes out and does his own thing, and you're going to hate him if he stays home with you because he doesn't have a life and he's being too clingy. Which is just your way of saying that you're pretty much not willing to do anything with or for him. So this just begs the question, with all of these demands that you have of this guy, why should he bother with an application? You're not giving him any incentive to actually want to be with you outside of your mere presence, which really makes no sense. If a man wants a woman in his life, he should be able to expect things from her every now and again. And you're not willing to do anything. So it sounds to me like it'll be the exact same thing whether or not he gets into a relationship with you. Except if he doesn't apply, then he gets to do all of the things that he wants, all while saving money and headaches.
Another thing, I get coffee every single morning. And I don't mean that you can make it at the house. No, what I mean is you have to take me to Starbucks every morning and order my coffee. I'm a very antisocial person, so I personally don't like ordering my own coffee. Another thing, you cannot be insecure because a lot of you know what my job is.
That's why I praise the Lord for prostitutes.
And the final one. If you have this one qualification, then you automatically get to skip everything else. Gotta have a nice boat. Don't mean a fishing boat, boys. I don't want to be riding around in one of those little ass fishing boats. I'm gonna sink. I want a nice boat. Thank you, and enjoy filling out this application. Let's see who the lucky winner is.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
So, let me get this straight here. You expect this man to cook for you, to squire you about town in his own car, buy you an overpriced cup of coffee every morning, and you expect him to be perfectly okay with your spice mining career? Now, I'm not making an assumption. I have seen her TikTok page. She's an online avenue stroller. She sells skin pics at the low price of $5 a month, and she expects you to meet her demands and be totally okay with it. And you know what? There's a lot more a man can do for $5 a month. He can buy toy cars and have pretend demolition derbies in his peaceful apartment. He can invest in some books that are being sold at his local library. He could even purchase a gallon of gasoline so he can squire himself about town and do all the things that he wants to do without some used up broad with zero value making demands of him while reciprocating less than zero. So with all of that being said, I'm sorry, sweetheart. I think I'm going to go find my prospects elsewhere. Because at least with a job as thankless as being a fry cook, I'll at least see some sort of a gain in a form of a paycheck. And if you ask me, a minimum wage gig will always be better than having to settle for someone as socially worthless as a spice miner. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.